Digimon Tamers, arguably one of the most popular pieces of Digimon media to ever be produced. And in 2021, it hit its 20th anniversary, during the run of the 20th anniversary celebrations of Digimon Adventure. Digimon Adventure 2020 reboot, whatever you want to call it. Which led a lot of people to thinking that we might get a reboot of Digimon Tamers too, or a new movie or something. We didn't get that. Oh, we sure didn't get that. But I was thinking, what if it did happen? And much like Digimon Adventure 2020, we saw new possibilities, new paths, and new evolutions for the Digimon Tamers partners. So while this video is called What If Digimon Tamers Got Branching Evolutions, this video is more about all the potential evolutions and different paths that the Digimon Tamers partners might take. What is up, digital companions? My name is Karn EX and welcome back to another video. And I've been on my new diet for about a week and a half now, and every time I go on some kind of diet and start losing weight, drinking more water, I always break out in zits because apparently I'm 13 going on 30. Literally going on 30. I turned 30 in November. You may have noticed there's some new toys on the shelves. And that's because Biggins over here was sent a wonderful package by today's sponsor, ZeninTCG. Package from ZeninTCG. If you got a thing to send the Karn EX, Plas Eirias Business Center, Abergele Road, Colwyn Bay, LL298BF. ZeninTCG is your one-stop shop for Digimon and anime goods. True Digimon and anime fans through and through, providing a service for the communities. And now they have their Digimon Asia exclusive collection, including the Digimon Adventure Unique Skill Volume 1 blind boxes. Per blind box, you can get one of the original 8 Adventure Digimon partners. I got Beelzemon doing her signature attack. Very nice. And there's also the TOEI Animation X LDCX Digimon Adventure Mini Plushies series. Is this another blind bag situation? Could this be Palmon, Gatomon, Beelzemon, Patamon, Tentamon, Agumon, Guilmon, Gabumon? Oh. It's Gatomon! She's so adorable. Look at her. Look at the feet. Look at the beads. And they've also got the SEMBOBLOCK Wargreymon vs Metalgarurumon set and the Digimon Adventure Tamer series. Zenin sent me the Matt wearing Gabumon costumes. He moves his arms and his head moves. It's so cute. All of these plus much more Digimon and anime goods are available now on ZeninTCG, so please do go support them because supporting them supports me. And in addition to these products that are currently out, Zenin is also going to be stocking all future Asia exclusive Digimon products like plushies, figures, and other collectibles. So thank you to ZeninTCG for sponsoring this video. They are the goats. Let's get to it. So what evolutions or branching evolutions would we see in a Digimon Tamers reboot? Well, personally, I want to start by talking about our boy Cyberdramon. He's integral to some other picks that I've made on this video, but also because he's the bridge, right? He's the adventure to Tamers link. So I think maybe in a reboot, we could see more of Monodramon than we saw in the original Tamers, and maybe even Strike-Dramon. For Cyberdramon himself, in Adventure 2020, they like to do some kind of soft references and some more references to evolutions that the partner Digimon in that season have had in other media, not necessarily Adventure canon. Adventure 2020 in general approached a much more VPET style Digivolution. While yes, generally there was still one through line for all the partners, they did let them experiment a little bit. Palmon becoming Togemon and Ponchomon, Metalgarurumon becoming Alterous mode with a mode change, but then also digivolving to Wargreymon and Blitzgreymon, Omnimon and Alteress showing up, and of course most famously I think, Patamon becoming Angemon, then when depowered, becoming Pegasusmon, which was referred to not as an armored Digivolution, but as its generalized level, the question mark, which was also true for Ponchomon, and there was also a bunch more Digivolutions and mode changes in this season. So I kind of want to combine some of those things together, which is why we definitely could see something like, say, Cyberdramon 2010 show up as some kind of slide evolution, but I actually think we're going to keep Cyberdramon pretty much as it is, but it's when it digivolves that things are going to get different, because I think initially its whole darkness thing, its whole Millenniumon thing would be really cool if for the first time it digivolved, it was ostensibly a dark Digivolution, referencing Adventure 2020's Agumon almost becoming Machinedramon, and then Machinedramon showing up later in that season by having Rio's Cyberdramon fully digivolve to it in the Tamers reboot canon. Cyberdramon trying to digivolve and it failing and a very like Skull Greymon-y way would be super cool, I think. And would mean that they would have to find a new way of digivolving Cyberdramon. Just like in the original where the Biomerge kind of purified him in many ways, I think a similar situation would happen, but not straight away. Biomerge to me would still be one of the end game things, maybe the second set of evolution, maybe the second to last set of evolutions we see. But I think before Biomerge, we could get some slightly different evolutions. So Guilmon is going to stay again very similar. He's going to get Guilmon, Growlmon, and Wargreymon. In 2020, Metalgarurumon got Ultras mode and Wargreymon got Sagittarius mode, so I could definitely see some sort of Wargreymon mode change happening. I think that would make a ton of sense. Maybe like a Wargreymon that ditches its armor or something, I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm gonna have Wargreymon and Takato try and purify Machinedramon or Cyberdramon and actually do a Jogress Digivolution. In my mind, this would happen prior to Biomerge Digivolution. It would be like the third to last set of major evolutions. And so Cyberdramon and Guilmon, maybe even Machinedramon and Guilmon, would DNA Digivolve to Suiginmon. This thing would be really cool. It would kind of bring in an element that I've always wanted to see. While I know that Suiginmon, Raijinmon, and Fujinmon don't fully match the elements of the Terriermon, Renamon, and Guilmon lines, I still think the visual cohesion is really good. And if you haven't heard me wax lyrical about this before, Suiginmon, Raijinmon, and Fujinmon in particular I really like as a Rapidmon evolution, but each of them also have two versions of each of the Justimon arms. So I think it would be really cool if that DNA Digivolution happened and kind of purified a little bit of Cyberdramon's heart each time it happened. So in one episode, Wargreymon and Cyberdramon would become Suiginmon. A few episodes down the line, Taumon and Cyberdramon become Raijinmon. And then a few more episodes again, Rapidmon and Cyberdramon become Fujinmon. So then through all those trials, through working with his Digidestined friends, eventually Cyberdramon, again a good few episodes down the line, would be able to finally biomerge with Rio to become Justimon. But this Justimon would have access to all of his arms, not just the Blitz arm. Seeing the Tamer's Justimon getting to show off the Axel arm and critical arm a lot more would be incredibly cool to me. And maybe even RaidenMon could show up in a movie or something somehow. So then of course Guilmon would have Gallantmon and Suiginmon as its two megas, though I think there is definitely room for medieval Gallantmon to show up too. We'd have Crimson mode naturally, but I think medieval Gallantmon could be fun. And I would also naturally be keeping Megidramon in this version, though I think it would be very interesting if Megidramon became like a temporary villain for a couple of episodes. Takato and Megidramon going on some kind of crusade might be a little bit too dark, a little bit too much for Takato and Guilmon's characters, but I just really think a reboot would be a fun opportunity to see a lot more of Megidramon than we did previously. Alright, moving over to Terriermon. We've seen Terriermon Assistant in the anime now, very prominently in Ghost Game, but I think it would be really fun if just a nod of the hat at some point in a reboot, Henry's Terriermon put on a lab coat and went, nah, not for me, and threw it off. His evos from there would be Standard, Gargomon, and Rapidmon, but just like how Patamon became Pegasusmon in Adventure 2020, I think there has to be an episode where we finally unite the two sides of Rapidmon and have Gargomon become Rapidmon Gold. I was thinking maybe like a gold card or something like that, but I think it would be incredibly meta if we're keeping Card Slash in this show, in the 2020 version, maybe using the new card game to scan one of the Golden Armor cards, whether it's the Rapidmon card, Magnamon card, or maybe at some point in the future, the Digimental, the Armor Digi-Eggs, will actually become some kind of mechanic in the Digimon card game, something I wanted for a long time, either something that you can add as a source, or like a delay item that you can play. I think I was kind of disappointed when Armor Digimon came into the card game and we didn't see the Digimental. I think that could have been a huge thing, hopefully in future, and if they do, Rapidmon Gold being in Tamer's canon would make it for me. He'd also, I guess, kind of be like a mega level, so maybe Terriermon could digivolve to him, whatever. But then, as I said earlier, we would also have Fujinmon. And I don't think it's impossible that while I envision Fujinmon, Raijinmon, and Suiginmon as being DNA Digivolutions, that maybe once they've assimilated that data, Terriermon, Renamon, and Guilmon could all become that Shinto trio independent of Cyberdramon and Justimon, maybe? I'm just throwing out ideas here. Renamon I'd also keep at Renamon, Cubimon, and Taumon, though I definitely think there is room for Taumon to be the Wargreymon equivalent. Rika, in my mind, was always the matte equivalent of Digimon Tamers, so I think some kind of Taumon mode change could work. Not like Domon, though I think it would be really sick to see Kuzuhamon show up. It showed up again in Ghost Game, so I feel like we've gotten a lot of those alternate versions. Kuzuhamon, Black Gargomon, Terriermon Assistant. Ghost Game kind of claimed those a little bit, because Ghost Game was a big Tamers reference anyway. But no, I'd want something unique. A Taumon mode where it gets to use, I don't know, more spells, or maybe it just gets something like completely crazy, like wings or something, kind of like Sagittarius mode, got the weird laser things. I don't know. And then Sequoiamon and Raijinmon, of course, as megas. I think tying more into that relationship between Rika and Rio. I think the the Raijinmon episode would be a really pivotal one in this reboot. And I also think in that exact same episode where we see medieval Gallantmon, Sequoiamon Miko mode should absolutely be part of Tamer's canon. It doesn't have to be a pivotal anime moment, it can be a dream sequence, an alternate dimension induced by an evil Digimon, but Sequoiamon Miko mode would just make so much sense in a Tamer's reboot to me. So then we've got the stragglers, the others, right? I don't know whether I want them all to evolve. In a reboot, I feel like it's likely that they might all evolve more than we saw. So like we know, for example, that Kazu's Guardromon was an Andromon, and eventually de-digivolved to a Kapurimon too. Could we see its Kokuamon? Could we see its Hyandromon? I think that would actually be pretty cool. Hyandromon being a Biomage Digivolution for Kazu, but I don't think it's intrinsically necessary for a Tamers reboot. We did do a video where we gave all of the Tamers cast their own Biomage Digivolutions, like Jerry, Kazu, and even Kenta. I know MarineAngemon's a mega. Check the video out in the card and you'll see my justification. So we could use some stuff from that video too, but I think it's probably more likely that Guardromon would just stay as Guardromon, but I think it would be really fun if he slide digivolved to my man, Blimpmon. These two being separate entities has always frustrated me a little bit, especially because Blimpmon looks like a bigger version of Guardromon, but Kazu being completely overwhelmed and completely ecstatic when his Guardromon, who like can fly a little bit, transforms into a giant blimp that maybe could carry Kazu and all his friends across the digital world would be a great moment. It would be like an unidentified airship. But no, for real, Adventure 2020 had Commandomon, right? This Digimon ally that was also a vehicle. It would be really cool if Guardromon just slide evolved into Blimpmon and became that for the team. I just love Guardromon so much, and I really love Blimpmon too. I'd love to have both of these show up in Tamers. MarineAngemon, interesting. I think the one that I would most want to see, because bear in mind, we already have Beelzemon Blast mode in Tamers. What if MarineAngemon was the other one to Blast mode? A MarineAngemon Blast mode does exist in the Digimon Axel. I also did a video on this, you should definitely check it out. But to this day, we've still never had an official design for it, which sucks. We do have Cathilamon, which is like an evil MarineAngemon. Again, I want to say MarineDevimon, but that already exists. But MarineAngemon Blast mode also looks kinda evil. To me, the moment I'm seeing is MarineAngemon fighting off the Davers, D-Reaper, whatever it might be, taking a barrage of hits, and in a very similar scene to where Metalgarurumon gets engulfed in the Dark Miasma in 2020, MarineAngemon taps into some darkness in it, like Jin Kazama, accessing his devil gene, and MarineAngemon blast modes to MarineAngemon blast mode. And I think it'd be a good kind of like story, but also comedic moment. This would probably follow whenever Beelzemon became Beelzemon blast mode in this reboot, and just have everyone being like, wait, MarineAngemon can blast mode too? It would be a great addition to this character. It gets to keep it at the mega level and keep its evolution line a little bit more mysterious. I'd also be down to seeing it fully digivolve, but I don't think it's really what they were going for with Kenta's partner, so I think that would preserve that, but also give it something a little bit more different to do in the reboot. Impmon, Beelzemon really quickly, I wouldn't do a ton to change them up here. Beelzemon already gets Beelzemon and Beelzemon Blast mode. I think it'd be interesting maybe if we did finally introduce Wizardmon and Balmon into Tamer's canon. Maybe once Beelzemon's kind of redeeming himself, maybe he gets damaged really badly and reverts to Wizardmon or Balmon or both. Maybe after the initial warp digivolution, Impmon just also starts regularly digivolving once he's back with Iron Marco, I don't know. So adding those would be cool. I also think a Tamer's reboot might be a really fun opportunity to kind of introduce more X-antibody elements. Again, they did this with Alterous mode and Sagittarius mode. While they are not Metalgarurumon X and Wargreymon X, they take a ton of influences from them. It would be really interesting to see like the X-antibody design of Beelzemon show up here. Maybe it can be like his non-good version of Blast mode. Maybe he enters like Darkness mode or something and it really resembles Beelzemon X-antibody when he's really at his evilest, maybe after he's absorbed Leomon's data. I think we have to still kill Leomon in this reboot. So maybe having Beelzemon X be this really evil, like totally fallen down, maybe we call it Beelzemon fall down mode, and then when he gets redeemed, becoming Beelzemon blast mode. I also wouldn't rule out, and people are gonna come for me with this one, Iron Marco a boy and girl, right? Would be pretty funny if Impmon just warped Digivolve to Beelstarmon. I don't see any reason why not. And then yes, finally is Leomon. As I said, Leomon's gotta die. But does he have to stay dead? This will be a conversation that has and will continue to go back and forward among Digimon Tamers fans. Half of people think, and I totally agree with them, that bringing Leomon back at the end or at any point after his death would have kind of robbed Jerry of her story, but also her story is so incredibly tragic that I also agree with the other half that it wouldn't have hurt to bring him back. I think there's room in a Digimon Tamers reboot to maybe kill and revive Leomon. And what better Leomon to do it with than Bancho Leomon? So I was thinking about this with Digimon Adventure 2020. They kill Ogremon, spoilers, and then later Rebellymon shows up, who is seemingly either a reborn or reconstructed from the like half-dead body of Ogremon. Also, Leomon survived in 2020, and we can't be having that, can we? So I thought, what if Jerry's Leomon does die? His data is half absorbed by Beelzemon. Beelzemon becomes Beelzemon fall down mode, which looks basically like Beelzemon X, but that remnant data is still chasing around the digital world in those weird digital dust bunnies, and eventually reconstitutes, finding scrap data from something else, whatever it may be, and eventually from a Digi-Egg going all the way back up to Bancho Leomon. We wouldn't see that. It would be implied that it did happen, but the important thing is that basically Leomon would return as Bancho Leomon, and he would obviously be very different. He may even struggle with his memories of his previous life as a Leomon, as Jerry's partner, but he would still be Jerry's partner. So we then have Jerry getting used to Bancho Leomon, kind of a different angle of things. Maybe even Bancho Leomon could kind of flip things on his head and know that he was Jerry's partner, but she like can't believe it because she saw him die. So he's trying to like win her over, which would be a really great inverse to the initial relationship in the original Tamers. And then maybe finally when they do, Bancho Leomon, or maybe he would revert back to Leomon, and that's when it would finally click for Jerry, could biomerge and become Heavy Leomon. Or Leomon can just stay dead. Maybe we'll give him a slide evolution to that dark version of himself, or Mad Leomon. Dude, the world where Jerry's Leomon dies, but his zombie data is turned into Mad Leomon. Alice McCoy in a reboot I see as either having a much more significant role or not showing up at all. If she did show up though, it'd be nice to finally see her Dobermon Digivolve to maybe Cerberusmon and Cerberusmon Werewolf mode, and Plutomon seems to be getting a lot of love lately, so seeing him in Tamers would be cool too. And Minami, what's that? Sorry, someone say something? So those were my ideas for basically a Digimon Tamers reboots evolution lines. This was incredible fan fiction on my part. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see me do this again. This was nice. I really enjoyed it. I like talking about like straight up just evolutions, but I also like coming up with new ideas, new stories and threads and stuff. I don't think I'm ever going to do like, here's how I'd reboot Digimon Tamers or anything, but if you'd like to see this same kind of approach to other videos using existing Digimon, refolding some threads, let me know. Huge shout out to my sovereigns, It's Elementary, ZDK14 and Jmon, as well as all these wonderful Digidestin, Tamers and Karn Club you can see below. I really enjoyed making this video. Dipping my head into the fanfiction world has always been a little weird for me, but if you guys like this, I'll definitely do more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.